Hey Capricorn, it's Jess here with your timeless monthly reading. The timeless piece comes in because it is meant to resonate with you whenever you find it, and the monthly part comes in because it is meant to cover the duration of about a month. So also you can check your sun, moon, or rising sign, or any other major sign that you have represented in your chart. For instance, if you have a stellium in any particular area, feel free to check that out as well. So with that being said, let's jump right into your reading. Concise messages for Capricorn. Interesting. All right, Capricorn, looks like you're going through a little bit of a hard time. The centerpiece of your reading is the Five of Cups, which can deal with grief. For some of you, I feel like this might even be an illness, like you're feeling a little under the weather here. Maybe you're in isolation. I am creating this video in May of 2020, and this is this man in the middle is supposed to represent the Hermit. So maybe you're just feeling a little lonely, a little isolated, and you're really missing your friends. Because I see in the past position you were in the King of Pentacles, so I feel like everything was good. You were very abundant. Business was good. You were probably well known in your circle of people. Stood out as a leader, that kind of thing. Very reliable. Somebody that people knew that they could rely on, and a lot of your social interaction could have come from the workplace or like resulted from the workplace, something like that. So we went from like really strong, really robust energy to just feeling, feeling fatigued, maybe isolated, under the weather, and just really trying to cope. I feel like just trying to cope, trying to keep your head above water here. Yeah, just feeling that isolation a bit. And because the reason I'm thinking that isolation too is because in the obstacles position we have the Four of Wands, and this is the happy, stable, celebratory home. I just feel like you're feeling a little blue, feeling a little gloomy, I feel like you're trying to, make the most of this time here. You're trying to like turn that into wisdom. You're trying to look inward, but you're just really missing people. You're missing the rebels, and that's even here just weighing on your subconscious mind with the Two of Wands. Like this person is literally like in their fortress and like looking out into the world. You might be spending a lot of time on social media. You might be planning your next vacation, your next trip. You're really paying attention to the news, seeing when things are going to lighten up. But you're just excited to feel some zest again, to feel some spark. This could be just, honestly, like fatigue, depression. And again, I'm not trying to diagnose anyone. I'm just trying to explain the energies that I'm seeing in the card here. Feeling a little under the weather. The tools at your disposal is the Page of Pentacles. So maybe you have a child that you live with that maybe is a little spark of joy in this time for you. There's some kind of project that you're planning at work. I feel like you're excelling at work. It's such a Capricornian thing to say, but I can see in the past position this was like something really robust, that you were doing. So maybe you've been doing a lot of thinking and you've had a lot of creative energy on your mind, and you want to maybe start branching out in a sense, and so you started planning a project. Maybe you've got a side hobby, a side hustle, a side craft that you like to work on that's really just captured your attention here. But either way, you have a new idea kind of coming through, and you have every intention. You're very good, Capricorn, at bringing your ideas into the material world. And so you're just kind of chomping at the bit to get out there and to have some real world experience, eat some good food and be around friends and all of that again here. And in the immediate future, I feel like things are a little up in the air for you with the Seven of Cups here. You have all of these ideas. You've had time to think. I feel like you have felt really isolated. And so you have all these ideas and you're not really sure how things are going to pan out for you. Maybe you have suffered some kind of financial loss, some kind of monetary loss, because with the cups, I often get money. You know, with the King of Pentacles, that's more wealth. Pentacles are more wealth-based, so you could have just lost some kind of money, and that's leaving you a little bit unsure about the health of your financial future, especially maybe with a business partner or something like that. Or maybe you are having to like reshuffle and reevaluate what to do with, you know, with the money that you do have, because I do see that you have more money coming in. I mean, I do think that you will have lost money, but it's overall not going to be as much as you thought. So I think you're just considering your options if this is something to deal with money, and grieving that loss, you know. You're being very patient with this, with the Hangman coming through as your overall like energy and how you're weathering it. This is Major Arcana. Interesting, you have a lot of Pisces, Neptunian energy. So I feel like you are trying to see the silver lining in this. You're trying to see spirituality, but you are aware of some kind of loss. The 12th house is the house of losses. It is also the house of travel. Maybe you are planning some kind of a trip here in order to pitch some kind of business proposal. In order to get things a little more stable and a little back on your feet here. You know, maybe this is with some kind of a professional here that you want to meet with, just to kind of get things back together. So you're being really patient. You're trying to see things from all angles, and you just feel a little stagnant here. There's some reason you're being held back, but you're trying to make the most of it. Like I said, with that Neptunian energy, you're trying to see. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, so it's saccharine, sweet. And Venus deals with the earth sign of Taurus, which deals with values and assets, personal assets. So that being, I feel like you are like looking at that from a higher perspective in some way here. So the outside influences, I feel like you're tucked away. Most of you are probably watching this during the lockdown, or maybe you got hit with some kind of illness and you feel like, and that has cost you a financial hit, and you're really unsure as to, you know, how your future is going to be in that sort of a sense. But you're making progress every day in the physical. You know, you are getting stronger in your physical body here. For some of you, if that's the case. So yeah, the outside influence is the Four of Swords, which is isolation, you know, withdrawal from society, being very reflective. There's a ton of reflective energy here. And I do see that you are perhaps trying to focus on your everyday, trying to prepare. You're trying to use this time wisely to make yourself stronger. So your hopes and fears is that you're going to get a message that this is all going to turn around very soon, right? That you could have to travel. But that overall, I think this is that you are getting some kind of news. And this news, you could be afraid that it's going to deal with loss of some kind. With grief, with loss, with isolation, receiving some bad news about your health, something like that. But you're also hopeful when that this news comes in and that it's good news, you know, and that it can change you for the better, you know, and that you could be on the up and up pretty quick here, because the Eight of Wands is really fast-moving energy. Sorry about that plane and that cat. So the highest outcome here is the Queen of Swords. This is doing your homework, doing your research, consulting with a professional if need be, keeping your head clear, making head over heart decisions, not getting bogged down in the grief of it. I'm also kind of getting an Eight of Cups, kind of a vibe of like moving from the realm of emotions up into the clarity of air, and really being the Queen of Swords, making the tough calls if you need to, cutting off these relationships, you know. Also, for some of you guys, this could be like a relationship that's ending with the King of Pentacles. He's often a husband, and maybe this was a third-party situation that you found out about and you're really grieving it, and that's the obstacle, is you want to leave because maybe you found out that this person maybe this person, you know, he's the King of Pentacles. I think he has a little bit of dough. Maybe he has houses in multiple places. He had to travel for work, and you're finding out that he's either never around and it's breaking your heart, or he stepped out, you know, or he's just gone. He's just away a lot for work, and it's something that's causing you a lot of grief. But perhaps you guys have a child together, and you're starting, you know, this brings you a lot of joy, or you're starting a project of your own. And you always know that I feel like you don't need much. You know, this is the tool in your tool belt where you know that like you could cut ties and you could move on if you needed to. And that's something that gives you strength through this time. But the future is really unclear because it just depends on so many variables. You have a lot of options of how to handle the situation, and this person does too. And, you know, in this situation, it's like, yeah, you're just waiting to receive the details here, Capricorn. And there's something about this situation because this person is traveling, because you're stuck in some kind of isolation, or not feeling well, or this person's not feeling well, that is just kind of, somebody could be on bed rest here, just having to be confined to a bed for their health, or there's some reason that you guys have to stay apart and that you're kind of stuck in this thinking mode, you know? And so yeah, this news, or this prospect of change, like really quick change or travel even, like if this person's out of town a lot, it's something you want, but it's also something that you're afraid of, right? Because what if the news is bad? Or, you know, what if he has to travel again, you know, for work? So the highest outcome is this Queen of Swords. So if this is an illness that you're dealing with, this is consulting with a professional. The Queen of Swords is a professional. And again, I don't give medical advice, but this is, I mean, it's telling you to seek the help of a professional. And it's talking about making head over heart decisions, keeping your head clear, and just being ready to cut ties with things that don't matter, not that don't matter, but just that are no longer serving you. And being very diplomatic in your speech, being the keeper of justice, and opening communication, like having really clear communication. If you don't like that this person is traveling, if that's a situation that's resonating with you, then you've got to be willing to talk about it and have a mature conversation with the Queen of Swords here. Something that, you know, keeps in mind the emotional nature of things, but also lets this person know what's no longer working for you and what you need in order to move forward, because there's love here. There is love here, and you guys have a happy home, you know, and you could make it work, but you know that you need help, and that you guys need to work together, and you know that you're willing to start. You're willing to put in you're willing to put the first brick down, you know, and kind of get this ball moving. So the advice for you, in order to embrace this energy here, is to slow down with the Temperance card. Really go within. Understand that, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, that kind of a thing. Temperance talks about healing. There could be some kind of an elixir or medicine that, you know, if this is a sickness, like your doctor might prescribe you some medicine and is just saying, you know, take it easy, take that medicine, take their advice, with the angel being like higher advice, right? And that the road to recovery is possible. It's just going to, you're going to have to move from, like, again, there's this energy of moving from the lowlands of the water and the emotional realm, right? And sickness can kind of be, you know, talked about through water. And you're going to move up into the clarity of the mountains, into the clarity of the air and the warmth of the fire that is like divine knowledge and healing and joy and happiness. So, you know, it looks like you're in a bit of a pickle now, and that things aren't so great. But just, I mean, self-care, taking time for yourself is really coming through with the Temperance card. Just trying to slow down, get back into your spiritual practice here. Maybe even travel and take a trip if that's at all possible. I know that you're under some kind of, for some of you, you feel isolated and you might be confined in some instance, but maybe if the opportunity does present itself, because I see that that's something that you could be hoping for, is some kind of news, or some kind of trip or travel opportunity. And so, you know, maybe plan a trip here in the future whenever you're ready. Maybe that's something that can kind of uplift your soul a little bit here too. So yeah, you know, just keep a clear head about things. Don't fall into despair. You have the tools that you need at your disposal. And, you know, Mama said there'll be days like this, but, you know, I do feel like what is needed for this watery, confusing energy is the clarity of air. You know, it's just getting answers to your questions, seeking out the resources that can help you get the answers to those questions, and cutting out things that are contributing to your grief and your confusion here, so that you can have a clear head and that you can free yourself up to move on, in a sense. I feel like with the Temperance card and that 9th house coming through, there might be someone that you really trust, because the 9th house also rules Guru. And so there could be somebody that's very comforting to you that you really trust, that, you know, maybe just seeking out their company in this time would be very helpful as well. But I can see that you're trying to be really patient. You're trying to be spiritual. You're trying to see things from a different point of view. And you're also trying to rest. So, yeah, I feel like that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I'm sorry that it seems like you're having a rough time. But yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. And I will be thinking of you guys this month, and I wish you all the best. Bye, guys.